Hey everyone, welcome to the studios here in Petaluma, California. Sitting here with the big brain of Steve Jacknow, who's, get this, he's the manager of solutions architecture and engineering.
That's correct.
China Telecom Americas. It's great to have you here, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. We wanted to chat about this opportunity in China. It's a huge one. A lot of companies that our partners are dealing with as they move further and further up market are finding companies that either already have operations in China or are seriously considering it. And doing business in China is no simple task. So this Be the Buyer is to help our partners get inside the mindset of a specific buyer type at a company. In this particular one, we want to think about kind of the COO or maybe the CTO who's been tasked by their board, go figure out a China strategy. We want to move manufacturing offshore. The economics of it are too compelling. What are the issues that these guys are going to struggle with the most in setting up shop in mainland China?
Well, one of the biggest issues is to understand the regulatory and compliance situation in China.
Yep.
It's very unique.
Yep.
There are things about the business license, about what content is allowed in and out of the internet, about being able to build applications and services within China in a different way than the United States.
Yeah, yeah. And so it's not just funding a building, putting in gear and equipment and manufacturing plant and hiring people. The government hand there is a really strong one, and they have to think through how they kind of navigate those waters, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The company has to make sure to understand the regulations surrounding citizens' data within China, how it can be stored or used.
Yep.
They have to understand regulations about content that's allowed to be moved in and out of China.
Yep.
Also, on a technical level, the aspect of the network connectivity is very different.
Oh yeah.
The China International Gateway points are very congested. Typical encrypted tunnels that we use all around the world are not allowed and can be shut down.
Interesting.
Unless they're from authorized providers.
Yeah, got it. In that list of authorized providers, I mean, the companies that I, as a manufacturer, could partner with for my network and my cloud strategy and other things there in China, it's a pretty short list, right? I mean, China Telecom is one of them. Give us some examples of that.
China Telecom is the biggest player in China. Essentially, it has about 70% of the physical market in China.
Yep.
But there are a couple others like China Mobile, who is the big player in the mobile space, and China Unicom.
Okay.
Now, the problem is that if you're a company that's trying to establish a presence in China, going with China Telecom enables you to have connections to all the local provincial telephone companies, to the backbone networks, for example, ChinaNet, where all the consumers reside.
Okay.
So particularly if you have a service or an application that you want consumers to use in China, you have to be directly connected, otherwise you are severely impacted in performance by going through some of the other providers.
Yeah, got it, makes sense. What are some of the biggest risks if a COO takes some missteps in their China strategy? Is it a matter that technology may not work? Is it a bigger risk that they might just see massive delays in getting to market because of all those issues we've chatted about?
Regulatory compliance is an issue because the government has the right to shut down your connections if you're not in compliance, or if you don't have valid business licenses.
Right.
And there's little oddity of things like you have to have Chinese written names for your locations and your local contacts. Otherwise, you can't get service. Little things like that can often cause delays. So mainly it is delays. You could be shut down. Things like delivering equipment in China. We've heard stories from customers where things have sat on docks for 8 weeks.
Wow.
And that can really affect your ability to deliver services.
Oh yeah. So those are all things that have got to be massive challenges for a COO that's thinking about a China operation. How does China Telecom help with us?
Well, China Telecom Americas is an authorized provider of services with China Telecom in China. And so we have the ability to get to the right people to help enable some of these processes and functions that relate to the regulatory issues. Our services are authorized, so they're not at risk of being shut down. And we have the ability to deliver equipment for customers, source and deliver, so that'll expedite and ensure that business operations will continue. We also have the ability to manage all contracts from the USA under US law with US billing. We actually have other currency options as far as our billing. But getting support from an American entity with a multilingual staff is very important, because navigating through the complexity of the China environment, even though it seems like, hey, China Telecom, one entity, no, it's really a lot of separate, smaller entities.
Oh, that's fascinating. So it's not just one big government you're dealing with, it's all these individual pieces from all the different parts of the country. So it sounds to me like this is something that's where experience in market is so critically important. I mean, this is a been there, done that kind of argument you guys get to make every day. How important is that to the confidence of a customer in the U.S. having a successful outcome in China?
I think it's very important. We can demonstrate the experience with the companies that we work with and help succeed in China. But it's also the assets that we bring to the table. Our leverage and our ability to directly connect customers to the ChinaNet backbone, which has the mass of consumers that make up the China marketplace, but also give options for high-performing networks and solutions that bring forward a better overall application performance that will enable these customers to build their operations successfully. And of course, we mentioned the time delays that can get involved and make these missteps. So I think one of the things that we emphasize is to make sure that our delivery cycle is that window we try to limit as much as possible for our customers, and to guarantee that we can get services installed in 45 days. Our whole staff is actually KPI'd, or our performance indicators. We're set up to do that.
Love that. Love that. So your whole staff is getting compensated on being able to hit an SLA like a 45-day install.
Absolutely, and there's various parts of the process. Like I could, give you some material to read. It'll put you right to sleep about the telecom process. We certainly try to make sure that every group that has to touch an element of delivering service for a customer, that they're incented to deliver it accurately and efficiently.
Steve, that's great. That's a really good insight into kind of how a COO might be thinking about a China strategy. I mean, not easy problems to fix. I love that China Telecom has such a well thought out strategy. You guys are really prepared with a ton of experience to help solve for this problem. Guys, there you go. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it. That's a Be the Buyer. You now have a better insight into the big issues that are kind of haunting a COO, an America company that is trying to figure out a China expansion, a China manufacturing or service offer. Those are big issues to deal with. Listen to this again, guys. Get really, really smart around China Telecom and the problems that they're solving for. Because if you can start driving that kind of conversation with a COO of an American manufacturer, man, it completely separates you from the competition. Hope that's helpful. Good selling.